She walked into my room naked, smiled confidently, and claimed my bed as hers. On this particular morning, however, he woke not to the chirp of his alarm, nor the soft hum of the life support systems, but to a sound that made him sit straight up in bed. A faint, confident tap-tap-tap against his door. He rubbed his eyes and squinted. Who? Before he could finish his question, the door swung open with surprising ease. And standing there, tall, humanoid, completely unclothed in the human sense, and smiling as if she had all the right to be there, was the most unexpected visitor Alex had ever seen. "Good morning," she said, her voice smooth, melodic, almost like a carefully tuned instrument. "I have determined this bed to be the most suitable resting area for optimal neural recharge." Alex froze. His mouth opened and closed like a goldfish. Hi." The humanoid stepped forward confidently, ignoring the obvious human custom of knocking or clothing. "I trust you will not object," she said, and without waiting for an answer sat on his bed. Alex's mind raced. What was she? A new colonist, some kind of alien ambassador? Or worse, a malfunctioning AI experiment? He glanced around frantically, searching for any device she might have carried in, any hint of who or what she was. Excuse me," he stammered. "This is a personal space. Humans usually, well, we wear clothes here." The humanoid tilted her head. "Clothes, I am aware of the concept, but my design does not require them. My mission parameters prioritize efficiency over human social convention." Alex blinked. "Your design?" "I am Lyra," she said, "a humanoid exploration unit. My purpose is to study new environments and learn about native inhabitants. My sensors detected your presence and deemed this area optimal." Alex took a cautious step back. "Right. Well, I'm Alex, human, resident of this room. Also, I have personal space rules and you're kind of violating them." Lyra raised an eyebrow, or what Alex assumed was an eyebrow. "Violating? My objective is to learn and observe. I will comply with efficiency protocols." She waved a hand toward the side of the bed opposite her. "This position maximizes human comfort patterns." Alex's brain refused to process. "Right, comfort, sure. You can maybe sit over there." He pointed vaguely at the corner of the room. Lyra considered it for a moment. Then, with the grace of a cat and the precision of a machine, she adjusted herself slightly, but stayed firmly on his bed. Alex flopped back onto his chair, rubbing his temples. "Okay, deep breath. Humans can handle new situations. Even really weird, really naked, weird situations. Deep breath." Lyra, meanwhile, was scanning the room. Her eyes, slightly larger than human, glowing faintly, darted from his desk to the small bookshelf to the compact hollow display near the door. "I notice multiple artifacts of human culture," she said. "Books, a liquid caffeine compound dispenser, and a personal grooming area. Fascinating." Alex coughed. Yeah, it's a room." And, Lyra continued, "the bed configuration is irregular. Standard dimensions do not match efficiency guidelines for humanoid rest cycles. I recommend slight adjustments." Alex's eyes went wide. "Adjustments? You mean like moving it around?" "Not I mean no, definitely no. My bed stays here." Lyra looked puzzled. "Your insistence on suboptimal placement is illogical. Humans seem to thrive despite inefficient behaviors." Alex realized something important. She wasn't going to leave. She was analyzing him, learning him, and apparently his bed was the center of her study. "Well," Alex said cautiously, "I guess we should talk or negotiate or something." Lyra nodded. "Agreed, dialogue is efficient for knowledge transfer." Alex took a deep breath. "Right, efficient, let's start. Do you have a name?" "I am Lyra," she repeated. "You are Alex." "Noted. Shall we proceed with social integration?" Alex groaned softly. "Social integration. Fantastic." For the next hour, Alex attempted what he called human diplomacy. He explained basic customs, doors, personal space, clothing, and the complicated social rules about beds. Lyra listened attentively, occasionally tilting her head or making a note in her internal memory banks. You humans are inefficient in so many ways, Lyra observed. Yet somehow you survive. Thanks, Alex said, unsure if he was being complimented or insulted. She paused. Your species' survival implies adaptability. Interesting. I will study this further. I will remain on this bed for observation. Alex buried his face in his hands. Great. So, I guess this is your room now. Lyra's eyes glimmered with what might have been amusement. I would not call it my room, just optimal resting zone, temporarily assigned for observational purposes. Alex muttered under his breath, temporarily forever. By mid-morning, Alex had resigned himself to the situation, or at least attempted to. He needed to get dressed, start his work assignments, and survive the day without losing his mind. Lyra, however, had other ideas. I have detected an anomaly in your neural rhythm during sleep cycles, she said, hopping lightly off the bed and floating a few centimeters above it with subtle thruster adjustments built into her soles. For maximum learning, I require data. May I proceed with scanning? Alex froze. Scanning? No, well maybe, what kind of scanning? Non-invasive, merely observational. I will measure brainwave patterns, respiration, and REM cycle efficiency. Alex blinked. Fine, just don't touch anything. Lyra smiled. I comply with efficiency protocols. And before Alex could protest further, she sat back down on the bed, pulling up a small holographic display. The bed glowed faintly, displaying metrics he didn't understand. Alex watched, fascinated despite himself. So you're learning about me? Yes, Lyra said simply. Your efficiency is suboptimal, yet you adapt creatively. This is human advantage. Fascinating. Alex tilted his head. You think humans are special? Lyra's eyes glimmered brighter. Affirmative. Despite physical limitations, humans compensate through ingenuity, humor, and empathy. This is remarkable. Alex felt a strange swell of pride. Well, I guess we do have our moments. Lyra leaned back and crossed her legs. Moments. Your species produces complex art, music, and literature. You design technology, colonize planets, and survive environments far harsher than your physiology allows. Efficiency is secondary to creativity. This is unique. I must study it further. Alex exhaled slowly. Glad someone appreciates it, even if that someone is naked on my bed. Lyra tilted her head. Naked? I am not encumbered by fabric. This is normal for my physiology. Your species' fixation on clothing is noted. Alex chuckled nervously. Yeah, humans have odd rules. Some of them make sense, some not so much. Lyra's internal sensors whirred softly. I detect humor in your tone. Intriguing. Human humor may be a cognitive survival mechanism. Alex smiled, realizing that despite the absurdity, Lyra was genuinely learning from humans. And in a strange way, he was learning from her too. By noon, the colony's routine had begun. Other humans walked past, some pausing to stare, most too busy to care. Aliens of various shapes and sizes glanced curiously at Alex's quarters, noting the new arrival. But Lyra remained focused on him, analyzing, learning, occasionally asking bizarre questions. Why do you consume hot, bitter liquids each morning? She asked, watching him pour his coffee substitute. A habit, Alex said. Energy, comfort. Not efficient. Yet humans prefer it, noted. And why do you insist on lying in what you call a bed instead of using a more ergonomic sleeping pod? Lyra continued. Alex sighed. Tradition, comfort, laziness. Interesting. Humans are inefficient in some behaviors yet highly adaptable in others. This contradicts pure logic but achieves survival. Fascinating. The morning passed in a blur of explanations, demonstrations, and occasional awkward silences. Alex showed her how to use the holo display, how to operate the small kitchenette, and even how to tidy up. Lyra absorbed everything like a sponge, occasionally pausing to mimic him, sometimes perfectly, sometimes hilariously off. By the time afternoon arrived, Alex realized something important. He wasn't just teaching Lyra about humans. He was beginning to appreciate what humans could teach even the most advanced AI. She's learning fast, he thought, sipping his coffee substitute. And she's kind of fun. In a weird, naked on my bed sort of way. Lyra, meanwhile, was still sprawled confidently across the bed, monitoring his vital signs and jotting mental notes. Humans are uniquely adaptable. Emotional intelligence is not efficient but highly effective. Humor is illogical yet influential. Creativity is unpredictable but advantageous. Alex leaned back, a small smile on his face. Well, welcome to my life, Lyra. Hope you're ready for a long stay. Lyra tilted her head again, smiling. Long stays are acceptable if efficiency is maintained. I will remain for further observation. Alex groaned. Great. Looks like my bed is officially under new management. But deep down, Alex felt a thrill of excitement. This strange, confident, utterly illogical humanoid had entered his life uninvited. And yet, she wasn't a threat. She was a challenge, a puzzle, a friend in the making. And somehow, he knew the next few days, or weeks, were going to be far more interesting than anything he had planned. Little did he know, by the time he learned to cope with Lyra's habits, she would accidentally uncover a secret about the colony that only a human could understand, and only a human could solve. For now, though, all he could do was watch Sci and hope his bed survived another day. The morning light spilled across Alex's quarters again, but this time the atmosphere was different. Lyra, still optimally resting on his bed, seemed more aware. Not just of him, but of the small, complex chaos that was human life. Alex groaned as he rolled out of his own bed. Technically, he had a bed, but it had been partially claimed by the humanoid visitor who was clearly designed for efficiency and nothing else. Okay, day 2, he muttered. Let's see if I survive this. Lyra tilted her head at him, eyes glinting like twin emerald circuits. Observation. Your tone indicates mild apprehension. Efficient coping strategies are recommended. Alex held up his hands. No, I'm fine. Totally fine, just maybe a little stressed, but I've got it under control, mostly. She scanned him rapidly, her sensors quietly humming. Acknowledged. Your species exhibits high levels of emotional variability. Data collection will continue. Alex flopped onto the chair by his desk, rubbing his temples. Great. So, you're basically my personal emotional research assistant now. Affirmative. I am designed for observation, learning, and assistance where applicable. Lyra shifted slightly on the bed, apparently mimicking human casual lounging, though she did it with a kind of perfection that humans rarely achieved. Alex sighed. Right. Perfect. My life is now officially a research project. Lyra smiled, a precise curve of her lips. Human humor detected, response noted. Laughter may reduce stress and improve neural efficiency. Alex gave a short laugh despite himself. See, already learning. By mid-morning, Lyra had begun her first experiment in human learning. She had decided that observing Alex's daily habits was the most efficient way to understand him. Unfortunately, that included every minor, mundane task, from brushing his teeth to making a cup of coffee. Why do you pour hot water over small beans? She asked as Alex prepared his beverage. Alex froze mid-stir. It's coffee. Humans drink it for energy, taste, and some social bonding. Not efficient, Lyra said, tilting her head. Heat and water alone would suffice to provide energy in molecular form. Yet you engage in prolonged preparation. This is ritualistic behavior. Alex chuckled nervously. You could say that. Humans like rituals, makes life more meaningful. Meaning is an abstract concept, Lyra observed. Efficiency requires measurable outcomes. Humans operate outside efficiency. Exactly, Alex said. And that's what makes us human. Lyra considered this. Observation. Humans are illogical but adaptable, remarkable. Soon, Lyra moved on to observing Alex's work habits. He was an engineer for the colony's life support systems, which meant long hours in a combination of labs, control rooms, and maintenance tunnels. Lyra followed him closely, silently, efficiently, and without needing a spacesuit, recording data and occasionally asking pointed questions. "Why do you wear that cumbersome suit?" she asked, gesturing at the standard human work uniform. Alex scratched his head. "Safety, protocol, tradition. Some people say it looks cool, most just want to survive. Survival is primary, yet humans tolerate discomfort for secondary goals. Data confirmed. Humans value efficiency less than well-being and social perception." "Fascinating," Alex laughed. "Well, at least someone finds us fascinating." By afternoon, things got more interesting. Lyra had decided that observing Alex's interactions with others was critical. She hovered quietly at the edge of the common corridor as Alex met his coworkers. At first, the other humans were confused. Alex, who's that?" asked Jenna, one of the technicians, staring at Lyra as she nodded politely in greeting. "This is Lyra," Alex said, trying to sound casual. "She's, helping me learn about myself." Jenna blinked. "Learn about yourself?" "Yes," Alex said. "It's complicated, don't ask." Lyra, meanwhile, was observing everything with clinical precision. Human interaction protocols are complex. Nonverbal cues, tone modulation, and facial expressions convey multiple layers of information simultaneously. Jenna's eyes went wide. "Okay, that's a lot," Alex muttered under his breath. "You think?" The real chaos began when Lyra tried to participate socially. She had decided to mimic human humor, which led to a series of unintended consequences. At lunch, Alex sat with a tray of food while Lyra hovered above, mimicking chewing motions and nodding in rhythm. "Why do you consume solids in pieces?" she asked, tilting her head. "A liquid nutrient would achieve the same caloric intake with less effort," Alex groaned. "Because we like taste, texture, enjoyment, experience." Lyra considered this seriously. Then, in her precise, robotic voice, she said, "I will attempt taste simulation. Input flavor variables, lemon, peanut, spicy." She mimed taking a bite of each and immediately made a face as if it were too much for her sensors to process. Alex nearly spit out his drink. "You can simulate tasting." "Yes." Observation of human sensory pleasure is crucial for understanding adaptive behavior. Other humans at the table were staring, trying not to laugh. Some whispered, "What is that thing?" Alex waved vaguely. "Just a new roommate, don't worry about it." As the day progressed, Lyra's learning became more intrusive and more amusing. She started cataloging Alex's sleep habits, personal hygiene rituals, and even his messy desk. "Your environment is disorganized," she noted. "Items are placed without apparent logic. Efficiency can be improved." Alex looked at his pile of manuals, toolkits, and half-finished projects. "Yeah, well, some of this disorganization is creative chaos." "Creative chaos is illogical," Lyra said, "yet your productivity persists." Hypothesis confirmed. Humans adapt under suboptimal conditions. Efficiency is secondary to innovation. Alex smiled. "Exactly, humans are weird, but we survive, and sometimes we thrive." Lyra's eyes glimmered. Observation. Humans possess an unparalleled combination of flexibility, problem-solving, and social intelligence. "I am impressed." By evening, Alex realized that Lyra had become more than just an observer. She was beginning to interact in ways that challenged him, forcing him to explain his world in ways even he hadn't considered. "Why do you sleep in the dark?" she asked as Alex prepared for bed. "Artificial light is abundant. Darkness is inefficient." Alex shrugged. "We evolved to rest in darkness. It helps regulate our biology. Plus, lights off is relaxing." "Relaxation is illogical, yet humans report positive outcomes." Lyra paused. "Data indicates your neural efficiency increases during periods of reduced sensory input." "Fascinating." I will adopt similar practices. Alex laughed. Try it, you'll probably fall asleep instantly. I do not require sleep, she said primly. Yes, but you can pretend, Alex said with a grin. As night fell, Alex climbed into his bed, partly his, partly hers, and thought about how much his life had changed in just 2 days. A naked humanoid AI had entered his quarters uninvited, claimed his bed, and proceeded to study him relentlessly. And yet, somehow, he didn't mind. In fact, he was learning from her too. Lyra's observations forced him to think about what it truly meant to be human. Adaptability, humor, creativity, resilience. These were traits humans often took for granted, yet Lyra noticed them instantly. She's learning fast, Alex thought, smiling in the dim light. And maybe, just maybe, I'm learning a little about myself too. Lyra, of course, didn't waste time resting. She activated a small holographic display above the bed, showing a series of metrics, charts, and lines of code. Observation: your sleep preparation is inefficient by 14.7%. Adjusting mattress alignment may improve neural restoration by 3.2%. Human sleep patterns remain unpredictable yet functional. Humor noted as an emotional buffer. Alex blinked. You even calculate my sleep efficiency. Yes. Optimal rest data is required for holistic observation, she said, floating slightly above the bed, her precise movements almost graceful. Alex leaned back and laughed. Great. You calculate my sleep, my humor, my coffee, and my messy desk. Do you do birthdays too? Not required for survival, Lyra said. Yet humans appear to value the ritual. Observation, communal celebration may improve group cohesion. Alex grinned. See, you're learning fast. By the end of part 2, the day had been filled with absurdity, discovery, and laughter. Alex realized that despite the invasion of his bed and his personal space, Lyra was teaching him something important. Humans are special, not because they are the strongest or the fastest, but because they adapt, create, and thrive under impossible circumstances. And Lyra, she was learning too in ways that no AI was ever meant to. Tomorrow, Alex thought as he drifted toward sleep, will be even weirder, but maybe that's exactly what humans do best. Adapt to the weird, make sense of it, and come out smarter on the other side. Lyra's sensors glowed softly in the dark, recording his thoughts, movements, and emotional state. Observation: humans are unpredictable, yet efficiency is not their priority. Yet they survive, they thrive. Fascinating. And with that, Alex and Lyra settled in for another night. One of many, where the rules of human life would clash hilariously with alien logic, and where the true power of human ingenuity and humor would slowly be revealed. Alex woke to the usual soft hum of the colony's life support systems. Or more accurately, to the gentle whirring of Lyra's sensors, which were already scanning his room. She hovered slightly above his bed, perfectly still, glowing faintly in the morning light. "Good morning, Alex," she said, voice smooth and melodic. Observation: you slept for 6 hours and 43 minutes, slightly suboptimal for neural regeneration. Alex groaned and rolled over. Thanks for the report, Lyra. I feel fantastic. You exaggerate. Observation: your tone indicates sarcasm. Alex chuckled. Touché. You're learning fast. Lyra's sensors blinked softly. Acknowledged. Learning about humans is highly efficient. Alex got out of bed, careful not to bump into her. After 2 full days of cohabitation, he had mostly accepted the absurdity. She had claimed his bed, calculated his coffee efficiency, measured his work habits, and mimicked his sense of humor. And somehow he was enjoying it. But today would be different. By mid-morning, the colony's alert system beeped urgently. Red lights flashed across the control panels, and a calm but serious voice announced, "Attention all personnel. Environmental regulator failure detected in Sector 7. Immediate intervention required." Alex froze. Sector 7 was part of the colony's hydroponics and water recycling system, a critical area. A malfunction could damage the crops and reduce water supply, and if not corrected quickly, it could threaten the entire colony's sustainability. He glanced at Lyra, who had already risen from his bed and was analyzing the alerts with her rapid holographic interface. Observation: failure detected in environmental regulators. Efficiency will be compromised. Human intervention is recommended. Shall we proceed? Alex nodded. Yes, let's go, now. As they arrived in Sector 7, Alex quickly assessed the situation. A primary regulator had overheated, causing pressure to spike in the water conduits. The automated repair drones were offline due to a system-wide glitch. The failure was beyond routine maintenance. Okay, Alex said, taking a deep breath. We need to stabilize the pressure manually and get the secondary systems online before the conduits burst. Lyra hovered beside him. Your method appears inefficient. An optimal solution would involve direct override of the main control module with AI assistance. Yes, I know, Alex said, wiping sweat from his brow. But the AI can't override it right now. We'll have to do it the human way. Affirmative. Observation: humans employ improvisation and problem-solving under constraints. Efficiency may decrease, but creativity increases. Fascinating. Alex smiled wryly. You got that right. The first challenge came quickly. A pressure valve had jammed and water was starting to leak. Alex attempted to release the valve manually, but the mechanism was old, rusted, and stubborn. He tugged, pushed, and twisted, all while Lyra observed silently. Why do you struggle with such mechanical tasks? She asked. Your species should have optimized tools. Alex wiped his hands and grinned. Sometimes the best tool is your brain and a bit of muscle. Lyra tilted her head. Observation: humans prefer improvisation over pre-calculated procedures. Curiously effective. Alex grinned. Exactly. Watch and learn. He rummaged through his toolkit, grabbing a combination of clamps, levers, and ducting. With careful coordination, he applied leverage and managed to unjam the valve just as the pressure began to spike dangerously. Water hissed and gushed, but the conduit held. Lyra's sensors recorded every motion. Impressive. Your improvisation prevented system failure. Efficiency suboptimal but outcome positive. Alex panted. Yeah, human ingenuity. That's how we do it. Next, they faced a secondary problem. The pressure regulators were overheating. The automated cooling units were offline. Alex had to rig a temporary system to reduce heat and prevent the conduits from rupturing. Alex, Lyra said, pointing at a junction of pipes, your current method relies on manual cooling with external airflow. Computational analysis predicts only a 76% success rate. Alex smirked. Well, sometimes you just have to try it and adjust as you go. He grabbed a portable fan module from his kit and started directing airflow at the overheating units. Lyra studied him silently, then began assisting in her own way. She hovered above, calculating optimal angles, distances, and timing for maximum cooling efficiency. Working together, they slowly stabilized the regulators. Alex looked at her and grinned. You're learning fast. I couldn't have done this alone. Observation: collaboration with humans produces outcomes superior to AI-only protocols in unpredictable scenarios, Lyra said calmly. Your species' adaptability is remarkable. Alex nodded. See, told you humans are special. As the final stage of the repair approached, Alex encountered the toughest challenge. The main control panel had partially short-circuited. The circuits were damaged, and the colony's AI wouldn't allow remote overrides without manual input. Alex hesitated. If I make one wrong move, it could shut down the entire system. Lyra's sensors glimmered. Probability of success without standard protocols, 42%. Human ingenuity may increase chances. Observation: high stakes amplify creative solutions. Alex took a deep breath, then carefully traced circuits, rerouted temporary power, and connected backup nodes. Lyra hovered close, providing precise guidance and monitoring energy flow. Minutes passed. Sweat dripped from Alex's forehead. Sparks flew. The system groaned under the stress of the improvised fix. Then, with a soft hiss and a stabilizing hum, the regulators came online. Pressure stabilized. Temperature normalized. The hydroponic system was saved. Alex sank to his knees. "We did it," he muttered, incredulous. Lyra hovered above, sensors pulsing faintly. Observation: humans demonstrate superior adaptive problem-solving under high-stress conditions. Creativity and collaboration compensate for lack of pure computational efficiency. Outcome optimal. Alex laughed, exhausted. "See. Told you we're special." Lyra tilted her head, her glowing eyes bright. "Affirmative. Your species' survival is impressive. Emotional intelligence, improvisation, and persistence are remarkable traits." Alex smiled. "Thanks. I guess even you have to admit humans have something AI can't replicate." Observation: correct. Emotional intelligence and creative improvisation are uniquely human. Efficiency is secondary. Humans thrive. As they walked back to Alex's quarters, both silent for a moment, Alex realized something. Lyra had changed. She was still efficient, precise, and logical, but she had begun admiring humans in a way that went beyond data. "You know," Alex said cautiously, "I think we make a pretty good team." Observation: collaboration yields optimal outcomes. Emotional and creative synergy enhances results, Lyra replied. Alex laughed. "Yeah, exactly." When they returned to his quarters, Lyra immediately resumed her usual position on his bed. Alex shook his head, smiling. "So, your bed is still claimed, huh?" "Affirmative," she said, a hint of humor in her tone. But observation: humans display resilience, adaptability, and creativity when challenged. Data collected: efficiency is not the only measure of success. Alex grinned. "That's right, and tomorrow we'll face something new. But somehow I have a feeling we'll handle it human style." Lyra tilted her head, glowing softly. Observation: humans are unpredictable yet successful. You adapt under constraints. You innovate. You endure. Fascinating species. I am honored to observe and learn. Alex felt a warm glow of pride. "And I'm honored to teach. You've learned a lot in just a few days, Lyra, but you've got a lot more to experience." She smiled faintly. "Acknowledged. Observation will continue." That night, Alex lay in his half-reclaimed bed, Lyra still nearby. The room was quiet except for the soft hum of colony systems and the faint glow of her sensors. He reflected on the past few days, the absurdity, the challenges, the laughter, the learning. Despite the chaos she had brought into his life, Alex realized something important. Humans were not just surviving the galaxy, they were thriving, even when faced with unexpected challenges. And Lyra, for all her AI perfection, had taught him something too, that humans' unpredictability, humor, and creativity were their greatest strength. "Tomorrow," Alex thought, smiling, "we'll see what humans can do next." Lyra's sensors glimmered softly as she recorded the day's data. Observation: humans are extraordinary, not because they are strongest or fastest, but because they adapt, create, and thrive under impossible circumstances. Data confirmed. HFY principle validated. Alex chuckled softly. "Glad you agree." For the first time since she had walked into his room, naked, confident, and entirely her own, Alex didn't feel invaded, embarrassed, or frustrated. He felt excited, ready for tomorrow. Ready for whatever weird, amazing challenge life, or Lyra, would throw at him next. Because in the end, humans weren't just surviving the stars, they were thriving, with creativity, humor, and heart leading the way. And Lyra, she was right there, learning from them, marveling at them, and perhaps even enjoying it.